Traffic Center mammogram save lives. Call 513-584-PINK to schedule your annual mammogram with UC Health's expert team. That's 513-584-PINK. 275 westbound off-ramp to Moss-Stetler. Police on the scene of an accident on that entrance ramp. Plan on delays. The exit ramp is 75 northbound to town is where we have a crash as well. Couple of vehicles involved and police on the scene here. Now we are seeing slowdown 75 southbound Western Avenue down to the Brent Spence Bridge. We're stop and go, about a 5-minute delay through the area. And the bridge work on 71 northbound State Route 123 to Wilmington Road is in place until about 4:30, and again 7:30 to 4:30 tomorrow and Wednesday. That's inspection work on the Jeremiah Morrow Bridge. I'm Rick Schremp, News Radio 700 WLW.
Now the latest forecast from the Advanced Dentistry Weather Center. Advanced Dentistry, the judgment-free dental experience you've been looking for. NoFearDentist.com.
Got a slight chance of more showers tonight. Mostly cloudy with a low 43. Chance of rain tomorrow. Thunderstorms are also possible. Mostly cloudy and 52. Partly cloudy tomorrow night, 36. Areas of frost on Wednesday and Thursday and Friday mornings. Wednesday's high 55. Thursday 61. Friday warming up a little bit, 67. We're at 53 degrees right now in Cincinnati, and we do have some light showers around the tri-state right now, extending from the Ross area and down into Green Hills and Mount Healthy and St. Bernard, Silverton, Madera, Blue Ash, and also seeing a few showers around Lebanon and Middletown and Blanchester and south of Dayton. No more weekend shutdowns of I-75 north of the Norwood Lateral. ODOT says they do not need to do another closing. Having finished the rehab job of 75 this weekend, there was the possibility that they'd have to do it possibly the last weekend of the month, but that's not going to be necessary, according to the Ohio Department of Transportation. No word of any arrests yet in the shooting death of an 18-year-old man near the Western Hills Shopping Center. It happened last night about 10 o'clock. The victim, Caleb Evans, was shot on Lakeview Avenue. 7 years in prison, the sentence today for the former CEO of the Columbus Zoo and Aquarium. Tom Staff pleading guilty to his part in a scheme, ripping off the zoo for more than $2 million. Other employees have also been sentenced in that crime. If you hear a child coughing this fall, could be more serious than just a virus. There is a rising number of whooping cough cases across the country. ABC's Sherry Preston.
ABC News medical contributor Dr. Darian Sutton says whooping cough can often start as symptoms of a cold.
Low-grade fever, runny nose, a mild cough for maybe 1 to 2 weeks, and then that progresses into the second stage.
That second stage can sometimes leave children gasping for air, which is where the name whooping cough comes from. Tiny babies, however, may have no cough at all, just apnea when they actually stop breathing. The best way to prevent all this, get your child vaccinated. The CDC says people didn't during the pandemic, leading to the current spike in cases. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Right now on Wall Street, the Dow is up 231 points. And looking at the S&P 500, that's up as well at 48. And NASDAQ, we're an hour from the close, and that is up 173 points. 3:05, we check in now with the segment.
700 WLW. Sports.
Here's a Bengals update brought to you by Good Spirits Wine and Tobacco in Party Town, 13 locations in northern Kentucky. Bengals go to 2-4 on the season after the win against the Giants. More tonight on Bengals Line, 6:05 right here on 700 WLW. College basketball, Xavier 6'10 forward Lacina Traoré is out for the upcoming season after suffering a knee injury last Wednesday in practice. Kansas is picked first at the Associated Press Top 25 preseason college basketball poll. Alabama second, followed by UConn, Houston, and Iowa State. Purdue is 14th, Indiana 17th, Cincinnati Bearcats 20th, Kentucky 23rd. Bill Dennison, 700 WLW Sports.
Next update at 3:30, Matt Reese, News Radio 700 WLW.
This report is sponsored by Red Pilled America.
This week on Red Pilled America, we tell the story of how The Apprentice made Trump a national hero and detail the first time Kamala Harris took her boss's job, and it wasn't Joe. Listen to Red Pilled America on the iHeartRadio app. That's red-pilled America.
Do you have a massive tax problem? Are you paralyzed with fear, losing sleep, and dread going to the mailbox? The IRS has an army of new employees who have the power to seize your assets, empty your bank accounts, and show up unannounced at your office. My name is Toph, T-O-P-H. I'm a Cincinnati resident who specializes in resolving massive tax problems. If you have a massive tax problem, stop procrastinating and call me now at 513-513-TOPH so we can meet face-to-face in my Cincinnati office. Imagine me putting an ironclad shield between you and the IRS and permanently resolving your tax problem. My first career as a pro golfer failed miserably because I accumulated massive debt that ruined my game and put my financial life in shambles. Ultimately, my wife resolved my problem, so let me resolve yours. So call me now at 513-513-TOPH. That's 513-513-TOPH. 513-513-TOPH. Don't live in fear. Toph is here.
When it comes to waterproofing, foundation repair, and concrete lifting, Dwyer is the only name you need to know to get the job done right. Call the professionals at the Dwyer Company at 513-777-0998 or visit thedwyercompany.com. Dwyer, the only name you need to know.
It's finally here, Genesis Diamond's largest ever sale on luxury pre-owned Rolex watches. Hey, it's David Cooper, Vice President at Genesis Diamonds. If you've dreamed of wearing a Rolex, you can't miss this special 2-day event this Friday and Saturday. During this event, you can take advantage of special pricing and zero-interest financing on a stunning selection of luxurious pre-owned Rolex timepieces. We've got dozens and dozens of Submariners, Daytonas, Pepsis, Batman, Hulks, models you can't find anywhere else. All of our luxury pre-owned Rolexes are in pristine condition, some just out of the box, and all priced to sell at this event. And listen to this, with the purchase of any luxury pre-owned Rolex at this event, Genesis will give you a pair of 2-carat lab-grown diamond stud earrings free. That's a $3,000 value. And listen up, Rolex owners, our pre-owned Rolex buyers are on site offering top dollar for your Rolex. Come see the largest selection of luxury pre-owned Rolex watches in the state and take advantage of special financing. It's this Friday and Saturday only, and only at Genesis Diamonds on Montgomery Road.
I'm Cheryl Swoops.
And I'm Tarika Foster Brasby.
And on our new podcast, we're talking about the real obstacles women face day to day.
Because no matter who you are, there are levels to what we experience as women.
And T and I have no problem going there.
Listen to Levels to This with Cheryl Swoops and Tarika Foster Brasby on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and search Levels to This with Cheryl Swoops and Tarika Foster Brasby and start listening.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Win. That's win. Enter it now.
All right, back with Eddie and Rocky. And Rock, I saw the headline of Jason Williams' column this morning, and it's exactly what I said to my wife last night. Well, I guess a win's a win.
Win's a win, brother. But look, as I described all last week, I was on a 1-4 Titans team. My rookie year, 2002, won the first game, lost 4 straight, and then we rattled off 10 of the next 11, got the 1 seed, and a lot of things went on. I'm not totally comparing the teams, but one of the things that helped us start that streak was we played back-to-back Jacksonville and the 2002 Bengals, both of which were bad teams at that time, and it kind of got us back in the flow. And if you look at this Bengals team right now, they play and beat a Giants team last night that was depleted and not very good, and they got the Browns next week, which should be a win. So things are looking up here. We'll take the win, but certainly some questions. But maybe this is the start of that ball starting to roll.
Well, let's get to the guy I just brought up, our good friend Jason Williams from the Enquirer, Cincinnati.com. And Jason, Rock and I both read your column this morning, and you can't watch that game last night and go all ecstatic, but hey, look, the whole point is, again, a win is a win. It's a start.
Yeah, thanks for having me back on. It is a start, maybe. When you look around the NFL, there's always games like this, and there's games like the Raiders beat the Ravens, and so you always see one of these kind of grinded out snoozers, usually multiple games a week or like this. And so from that standpoint, just something just seems off about this team, and it's And I know you can't get perfection in NFL, but it just seems like if the offense is on, the defense is off. And, we saw last night the defense was on and the offense was off. And fortunately, you ultimately were playing a bad team, and so you're able to get out of there with the win. But at some point here, in order to overcome this, and I felt like the tone of the Joe Burrow's press conference was last night was you could just – I was listening to it, and I'm like, this guy's, the tone is that we got a long way to go here before we can really start to feel like we're back. And, Rock, I know you talked a lot about that, and I think that's a great example of the Tennessee Titans, that team that you were on. But I think the difference there, Rock, is that you guys had some good defensive players that were out, and then they came back from injury. There are no reinforcements, so I don't think you can scheme your way around a bunch of players that just aren't really all that good when it comes to the defensive side of the ball. And I think that ultimately is going to doom this team. So far, it has obviously, but I think that's ultimately going to be the downfall of the 2024 Bengals.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong. I actually think the same thing. I think the lack of just elite players on D is the thing that's going to be their undoing. With that said, they got some guys healthy, which helped. But to your point, which you pointed out in the article, and again, no one's trying to poo-poo this thing, but the offense. Yeah. First of all, 4 sacks. Now this was the top sack team in the NFL, the Giants, but. That concerns you a little bit, and just didn't look quite as in sync on offense. And I think everyone's waiting for this team to put together a complete game, and still haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, and I, 6 weeks in now, you gotta want they are who they are, I think, and it's when you're seeing these weeks that 1 week or most of the week so far up until last night, with the exception of week 1. I think, the offense has been really, really good. And then the defense was bad. Well, last night the defense was really good and the offense was bad. And it's like, I just, like, when you see that kind of stuff, you're kind of like, is it just not their year? Those kinds of things. It's like, 6 weeks in and you've yet to put that, that everyone's, playing that, what they call complementary football. And I hate to. I feel like I'm being overly negative, to be honest with you, because out of one side, like I said at the top there, or what Eddie said, is a win is a win, and these kinds of games happen in the NFL. But then when you put the full, I always try to look at these things in the bigger picture, and you do that. And again, if they had elite players on defense that were out right now and they were coming back, and you would sit there and say, oh, okay, that there's some hope that you can turn to in that way. But that's not the case. And I just think that when I kind of was going down the list of all the scores yesterday, when you look at the top teams in the AFC, if the Bengals played like they played last night, I mean, they're not beating the Chiefs, they're not beating the Ravens, they're not beating the Steelers, they're not beating the Texans. Are they going to even beat the Browns? The Browns are not a good team, but they haven't won there since 2017, and they typically play really badly there. And the Browns do have a good defense. Now their offense is terrible, so Again, not trying to be overly negative. I know that I'm a critic, and I know I've been hard on them, but I just you hate to see them waste away some great quarterback play with Joe Burrow overall by having a defense that's just not really up to snuff.
Well, JC, you and Rock both mentioned it, that the defense didn't get the memo that they're supposed to suck. They did come to play last night, especially Trey Hendricks. I mean, Hendrickson was like, it's like somebody took his lunch money, incredible. Man. He was pissed. But But you mentioned in your article, your column this morning, Jace, that they had one of those closed door meetings, players only guys. So I wanted to ask Rock, what goes on in those? Do you just like call everybody everything, but and just call everybody out as a man? What happens there?
Yeah, I mean, and they can be good. I think a well-timed, rare, poignant players only meeting is a good thing. You can't do it all the time because then it just loses the kind of the impact of it. But yeah, I think in my experience, it's an opportunity for guys to kind of air it out loud, and if the linebacking core thinks that the defensive line isn't playing well, or the secondary thinks the linebacking core, you kind of talk about that a little bit. And sometimes, public embarrassment and being critical can motivate a group or a person to play better. It's not necessarily the worst thing. This is not the feelings business, right? This is the results business. So I imagine in that meeting, players kind of aired their differences, and if they thought that a certain group or a certain player wasn't, performing well or practicing hard enough or doing this and that, I think that can be called out. But then just in general, I think just to kind of talk about, okay, where's our weaknesses, and hey, we need a little more help here, and we need a little bit more, make sure we're a little bit more sound here. I think it's a good thing, and I think by all accounts, it worked last night, and hopefully it continues.
Yeah, no, that's. You're the one who's been in those, Rock, and that's always been my understanding of a players-only meeting is that, there's brutal honesty and guys get it out and they air it out, and there's accountability, and put some people on the spot that you're not getting it done, and that's why you do it without the coaches there, without any media. Obviously, media wouldn't be there, but anyone but the players are there, and it's a matter of the players are taking it upon themselves because they are the ones that have to go out and execute and perform and make the plays ultimately. And so, yeah, I agree. Like those things you hear about them in baseball too, and I think they're probably they're probably more spirited in football, and there's probably more calling out. And when it comes to football. But ultimately, and it's probably never a good sign too when there are those players only meetings. But right. Can you point to that as why they played better last night? Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, but it was great. It was really, really encouraging to see the defensive line step up, and you see what having an effective defensive line does for your defense. That's where it all starts, right there on the defensive line. And if you're weak up there, then your defense is more than likely weak.
All right.
I was just going to say, just the last thing is you wonder, was the offense being a little bit not as productive last night? Of course, again, this is a great Giants defense. I mean, they get after the quarterback better than anybody. But is it a result of what Burrows said a couple weeks ago, which is we got to play damn near perfect, and sometimes that causes you to do things that are uncharacteristic. You try too hard, or you scheme too hard, or you do this, you do that. Yep. So I think the good news for the offense is the players are there. T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, Yoshivas is awesome. Running backs, if they can hold on to the ball late in the game, I think they're efficient. So hopefully, I guess what I'm saying is hopefully the D-line getting back and being healthy, maybe that sends a little message to the offense. Okay, we still got to score a lot of points, but maybe we don't have to have the pressure of being perfect. I guess that's all we can hope for.
Very well said, because, you're expecting your offense to come in and score 30 points a week every week. It's just not possible as good as that offense is.
All right. With that, Jace, we will let you go, buddy. Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.
See ya. Our good friend Jason Williams from the Enquirer, Cincinnati.com. And, hey, look, win's a win. Now on to Cleveland, where the Deshaun's. That's
a mess right now.
It really is.
That's a mess. Bengals got to go in there and take care of business. I think they will.
With that, we check in with traffic and weather. What's going on?
Yeah, they're going to stick with Deshaun Watson. I just read that earlier today.
Yeah, that's I got to feel like if I'm Kevin Stefanski and that's my job, I'm going to go finally just look at the boss and go, nope, gotta sit him. Let's go. Where's Joe Flacco when you need him?
That's exactly.
But Rich, it's kind of similar here. I mean, Eddie's they've been trying to get rid of Eddie for years, but he just makes too much money, man. So we got to keep putting him on the air.
And I know where the bodies are buried. You kidding me?
That's right.
Well, call this place
partner.
out, and I'll write my book, and that'll be that.
And it'll be on YouTube. From the UC Health Traffic Center, mammogram save lives. Call 513-584-PINK to schedule your annual mammogram with UC Health's expert team. That's 513-584-PINK. And on 71, we're looking at delays northbound between State Route 123 and Wilmington because of that bridge work with the left shoulder block. That's going to be in place until about 4:30. Now, Compton at Hamilton, we do have an accident. Police are there getting that cleaned up. In 71 northbound Montgomery to Ronald Reagan Cross County Highway filling in. We're seeing heavier traffic, too, on 75 northbound Mitchell to Paddock and southbound 75 Shepherd to Ronald Reagan Highway and from Western Avenue down to the Brent Spence Bridge. Total travel time in that area about 11 minutes. And then 75 northbound US 42 to Buttermilk Pike, an extra 10 minutes. I'm Rick Schrepp, News Radio 700 WLW.
The forecast from a 700 WLW Weather Center for tonight. Clouds, slight chance of more showers, the low of 43 for tomorrow. Maybe some morning rain and the high of 53. It's 55 now. News Radio 700 WLW.
Maybe you missed one of our shows because fixing that leak took longer than you expected.
Can I call the plumber now, Mr. Fix-It?
Don't worry. You can get the podcast of our shows and hear what you missed. Check them out on the iHeartRadio app.
This report is sponsored by Ohio Basement Authority, your local expert. Is water seeping into your basement? Are your basement walls cracking? Contact Ohio Basement Authority, the basement waterproofing experts. Get your free inspection today. Learn more at ohiobasementauthority.com.
Guys, if you're often feeling tired, lacking motivation and drive, gaining some weight, or noticing a loss of muscle mass, these could all be signs of low testosterone. Don't wait. Find out what's going on now. At Low T Center, they make it easy to get your levels checked, and it's just a simple test with their on-site lab, and you'll get your results back right there. Low T Center is not a typical doctor's office. There's physicians specialized in treating low T with testosterone treatment therapy, or TRT, for each individual patient. The experts at Low T Center have over a decade of experience helping patients, and super important here, their personal treatment plans are optimized for each patient. These aren't just basic standard treatments. For established patients, they also offer convenient physician-monitored at-home treatment plans that ship directly to your home each month without the need to come in for weekly visits. And Low T Center, you can also get your health evaluated for treatment with prescription GLP-1 weight loss medications. So get back to your best. Go to lowtcenter.com to book your appointment online today. That's lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Why settle when your love is as real as it gets? Begin your unforgettable engagement with a GIA-graded 1-carat natural diamond set in a timeless gold ring for just $3,950. Because love isn't made in a lab. We welcome all to experience the finest natural diamonds and rarest creations at prices you must see to believe. James Free Jewelers, 9555 Main Street, Montgomery, or shop online at jamesfree.com.
Have you or a loved one been diagnosed with cancer after using Roundup weed killer? The World Health Organization has classified Roundup's main ingredient, glyphosate, as a probable carcinogen to humans. If you or a loved one developed cancer and used or came in contact with the weed killer Roundup, this could be your lifeline to substantial compensation. Call Legal Injury Advocates at 513-299-LAW1 for a free initial case review. This is time sensitive and it only takes a few minutes, so call as soon as possible. The manufacturer of Roundup has already paid billions of dollars in settlements. Dial 513-299-LAW1, that's LAW1, and join the thousands of victims seeking justice after developing non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and other related cancers linked to the use of Roundup. You're not alone, there's hope, and there's legal help available. Call 513-299-LAW1, that's 513-299-5291.
Paid for by Legal Injury Advocates who may associate with other law firms. Tom Young is admitted in Arizona. Choice of a lawyer is an important decision. It should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Rocky here for Vance Outdoors. Vance has all your needs covered, from shooting sports to hunting and fishing, the lowest prices, and the largest selection of firearms and outdoor necessities in the Midwest. Visit Springdale or in Lebanon. Get the very best gear at VanceOutdoors.com.
There are many reasons why over 90,000 members choose the Small Business SACA benefit plan. It's backed by Anthem with full access to their hospitals and doctors. It's tied into your local chamber, so call them or your insurance agent. Visit 844medohio.com today.
When your home has an uh-oh, just call Apollo. ApolloHome.com.
Sarah Spain for iHeart Women's Sports.
Presented by Capital One.
The Orlando Pride's attempt at an unbeaten season ended Friday night with a 2-0 loss to the Portland Thorns. Orlando hadn't lost in 24 regular season matches dating back to last season. Morgan Weaver and Christine Sinclair scored for Portland in the win. It was Sinclair's 80th career goal across all competitions, ranking her second on the NWSL career list. She's announced she'll retire at the end of this season. For more women's sports stories, subscribe to Good Game with Sarah Spain on iHeart Podcasts.
Capital One is a founding partner of iHeart Women's Sports Network. With the Capital One Venture Card, you can follow your favorite athletes wherever they're playing and earn unlimited double miles on every purchase. The Venture Card from Capital One. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Back with Eddie and Rocky.
At This Day in History is brought to you by Vance Outdoors. Gear up for your next hunt with Vance Outdoors. Visit their locations in Springdale or Lebanon or VanceOutdoors.com. This is actually This Day in History 2 days ago, although we celebrate today. Your boy, Christopher Columbus, October 12th, 1492.
Sailed the ocean blue.
America.
Yeah.
Sailed the ocean blue. Set out on August 3rd, 3 ships named
Nina de Pinta and the Santa Maria.
There you go. He was setting sail for the East Indies, but he instead discovered a new world, traveled against trade winds, battle potential, mutiny, death, destruction everywhere. October 12th, he spots and lands at what they think was San Salvador in the Bahamas, which I have spent many, many years at. A great place. And, yeah, man, so we're, of course, celebrating Columbus Day today, but he did that many, many years ago. In the world, ever since he discovered that, prosperity has flowed all across the world.
And, wait, we'll be the judge of that. I mean, in the long term.
yeah. It's working out pretty good for us.
So
right?
far, so good. Yeah. I ain't complaining.
Yeah.
But think about that. I always think about being one of those, like the Pilgrims and the Columbus crew and all those guys. I mean, well, the Pilgrims, though, at least had the Columbus thing going for them. They knew there was something here. So they could just point it and you would hit it eventually. He just took off. I don't know what they were. I forget what they were looking for. Were they looking for China or something? I forget.
He was looking for the East Indies. Yeah,
right,
he thought he was going to sail. They didn't know there was this new world, so he was going to sail, westbound to try to get to the Orient there to get the spices and all that sort of stuff. Instead, found a whole new world. It's pretty amazing. Again, I mean, with all the things going against him in that, it's pretty amazing. Again, it's just led to the founding of our very civilization.
All right, with that, let's get to the news. News Radio 700 WLW.
News, traffic, and weather. News Radio 700 WLW, Cincinnati.
A woman charged with her mother's murder. With the 3:30 report, I'm Sean Gallagher. Breaking now.
More disturbing details coming out after law enforcement in northern Kentucky discovered a gruesome scene.
First responders in Robertson County last week described an horrific scene. Blood on the back porch and door of 68-year-old Trudy Fields' home north of Mount Olivet, with Trudy's body found dismembered on the property. Her daughter, 32-year-old Tori Lena Fields, allegedly refused officer commands. They say she was trying to cast spells on them. Kentucky State Police troopers eventually used tear gas to get the blood-covered woman out of the house. She's now under indictment on multiple charges, including murder. Investigators say that Tori Lena shot and stabbed her mother before dismembering her, with some of those body parts found in the oven. I'm Jack Crumley, News Radio 700 WLW.
Now the latest traffic and weather together.
From the UC Health Traffic Center, Mammogram Save Lives. Call 513-584-PINK to schedule your annual mammogram with UC Health's expert team. That's 513-584-PINK. And we have Compton Road at Hamilton with the accident and police on the scene getting this cleaned up. Now, good news along 275 westbound. That accident in Moss-Stetler has cleared, so all lanes back open. Now, we are seeing heavier pockets as you make your way along 71 northbound Montgomery to right around Ronald Reagan Highway. And on 71 northbound, State Route 123 to Wilmington, we have the left shoulder taken up until about 4:30 for this work on the Jeremiah Morrow Bridge. 75 northbound Mitchell to Paddock is about a 10-minute delay. Southbound 75 Shepherd to Ronald Reagan Highway. And from Western Avenue to the Brent Spence Bridge, we're seeing slowdowns. I'm Rick Schremp, News Radio 700 WLW.
Now the latest forecast from the Train Heating and Cooling Weather Center on News Radio 700 WLW.
We're going to see mostly cloudy skies this afternoon with some isolated evening showers and a high topping out at 57. Overcast overnight tonight, still a chance for rain. Your low dips down to 42. Mostly cloudy Tuesday, isolated showers with a high of 55. That's the 9 First Warning forecast on News Radio 700 WLW.
Radar is showing a cloudy sky right now. Our temperature 53 degrees. News Day service of Mike Castrucci Ford. Cincinnati police investigating after an 18-year-old was killed in a shooting in Westwood late Sunday night. Officers around 10 o'clock responded to the 3300 block of Lakeview Drive, finding Caleb Evans suffering from a gunshot wound. Life-saving measures were performed, but he would be pronounced dead at the scene. Police at this time not providing any suspect information with an ongoing investigation. Florida continues to recover from Hurricane Milton, with rising waters forcing evacuations in the central part of the state. Governor Ron DeSantis reporting that close to 4 million customers have had power restored since Milton made landfall.
About 97% of the state is electrified and operational. There's about 369,000 that are still outstanding.
DeSantis adding that more free gasoline is available at 12 different locations while announcing $9.5 million to help repair ports, including emergency berth repairs and dredging. Ohio Task Force 1 returning home after they responded to help in search and recovery efforts in Florida following Milton's landfall. Before that, they were sent to North Carolina to help in the wake of Hurricane Helene.
700 WLW. Sports.
Here's the Bengals update brought to you by Good Spirits Wine and Tobacco in Party Town. 13 locations in northern Kentucky. Bengals go to 2-4 on the season after the win against the Giants. More tonight on Bengals Line 6:05 right here on 700 WLW. College basketball, Xavier 6'10 forward Lacina Traoré is out for the upcoming season after suffering a knee injury last Wednesday in practice. Kansas is picked first at the Associated Press Top 25 preseason college basketball poll. Alabama second, followed by UConn, Houston, and Iowa State. Purdue is 14th, Indiana 17th, Cincinnati Bearcats 20th, Kentucky 23rd. Bill Dennison, 700 WLW Sports.
Into the final half hour trading on Wall Street, the Dow up 209 points, NASDAQ up 181, the S&P up 49. Our next update is at 4 o'clock. I'm Sean Gallagher, News Radio 700 WLW.
Inexperienced prosecutors across the country are going soft on crime, leading to chaos, lawlessness, and more violence in our cities. They side with criminals over police. They ignore the victims. They leave our families vulnerable. Connie Pillage has never prosecuted a case. Not one. But Pillage has repeatedly sided with criminals and even let her law license expire. Connie Pillage. Zero experience, zero trust. We need Melissa Powers, a battle-tested fighter with decades of experience. After 15 years as a prosecutor and defense attorney and 16 on the bench as a judge, Melissa Powers knows the devastating impact crime has on communities and won't let it happen here. Melissa's protected the most vulnerable in our society: kids, families, victims of terrible crimes. And in over 150,000 cases, Melissa delivered justice. Tough on crime, experienced in court, right for Hamilton County families. Melissa Powers for Hamilton County Prosecutor. Paid for by Powers for Prosecutor.
The Great American here for Rhino Shield. I've been telling you about them for many years. Summer is here big time. Take advantage of a 10% discount. Use Rhino Shield like I did to protect the Cunningham home. Don't paint, don't vinyl. Go Rhino Shield and get a 25-year transferable warranty, plus for a limited time, about a 10% discount. Call today, 888-RHINO-41. 888-RHINO-41. Do what I did. Protect your home with Rhino Shield. Save that 10% plus. You're going to love the result.
In his campaign ads, Sherrod Brown thinks everything's pretty funny. But it's not when you look at his voting record. Brown voted to allow transgender biological males to compete in girls' sports. Unfair and dangerous. Brown introduced a bill letting transgender biological men into girls' locker rooms and girls' bathrooms. That's just not right. And Brown supported allowing puberty blockers and sex change surgery for children. Migrants are flooding into Ohio, but Brown voted for government handouts to illegal immigrants and voted 10 times to protect sanctuary cities that release dangerous illegal immigrant criminals onto Ohio's streets. Sorry, Sherrod, your seriously bad votes are no joke. And Ohio doesn't think it's funny. Sherrod Brown has let us down. He's way too liberal for Ohio. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Hey, Donald Trump Jr. here. Central banks are buying gold at record amounts, and the trend is accelerating in 2024. They see the writing on the wall. The dollar is failing. Is gold the answer for you too? To find out, get a free info kit from Birch Gold Group by texting the word SHELTER to 989898. That's SHELTER to the number 989898 to get your free info kit from Birch Gold, the only gold company I trust right now.
Message and data rates may apply.
Every day, Cintas service reps help businesses get ready for the workday. They provide freshly laundered workwear delivered every week. Mats, mops, restroom and cleaning supplies. First aid and safety products to help your employees stay safe. They even test and inspect fire extinguishers and emergency lights. Cintas helps keep your business running smoothly. See what Cintas can do for you. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Meet Brian. He just got $5,000, and it was pretty easy. I'll tell you how in 10 seconds. Brian needed cash help. After being rejected by banks, he tried 27cash.com. Told them how much he needed, even let them know he had bad credit. In minutes, 27cash.com found a lender who deposited $5,000 into his bank account the very next day. If you need cash help, even if you have bad credit, go to 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
JeffWeilerHonda.com.
See, sometimes I wish you could hear what goes on in this room and also some of the conversations that Rock and I have, because we talk every day on the phone about what we're going to do. And when I said what I said to you today, my wife was sitting there and she goes, "Are you guys like 11? What the hell is wrong with both of you?"
that would exactly be most of our conversations. Yes,
but anyways, that just came to my mind because she just was shaking her head, going, "Just going like, oh God."
Yeah, we just giggle on like teenagers, and we're having a good time though. Keeps us loose.
Absolutely.
So Ed, my game this past weekend was in Bozeman, Montana. Montana State Idaho at Montana State. Okay. Beautiful out there, by the way. I mean,
I've always heard Montana's beautiful, man.
It's the real deal. It was cool too. I went to a high school football game out there.
Oh, I saw that. How was that?
Yeah, it was cool. It's not the feverish level that it is around here, right? I mean, it wasn't, LaSalle at the pit versus Elder, right? It wasn't that caliber of, but look, people were there and fired up about it. It was pretty cool to watch. Actually, Montana State's head coach, his son was the quarterback for this high school called Gallatin. Anyway, so we're checking out. That was cool. But anyway, so booking that trip out there, we go through our ESPN internal people, like a travel agent, and booking trying to book the rooms and stuff, and the hotels were like ridiculous. I'm talking, $700 a night kind of thing.
Holy
what? And yeah, so it's kind of locking you out of all these hotels. We won't have I'm talking to travel agent. I'm like, what's going on with this? Like, why are these so expensive this weekend? And she says, well, I'm from the Northeast, and she said it may be the leaf peepers. And I said, excuse me? She said the leaf peepers, which I guess is a term for the people that travel around, mostly on the Northeast, but of course out west too, like she was saying, and to catch all the trees and as they turn, the leaves turn color and stuff like that. So I just, having known that, I saw this article today. Outrage as stunning New England hiking trails are hit by gridlock caused by huge influx of leaf peepers. Peepers. So I guess there's a couple places. Again, this is New Hampshire, New England area. There's a place called Artist Bluff Trail in Franconia, and I mean you see this picture here. I mean you've been on trails before, and usually you're lucky if you see anybody, right? Well, it's gridlock. There's like hundreds and hundreds of people on these things. And the locals are just totally outraged. Tamara Breu, an experienced hiker from New Hampshire, described the scene as completely unsafe, with people shoving their way through the bottlenecks at the summit. And of course, a lot of these leaf peepers are also fellow influencers like yourself, who want to post the pics to the TikTok,
dude, because the people want to hear what we have to say.
Right. And yeah, so it's just funny because there's a girl, like she's in this something you would never wear hiking, right? Like it's like a bodysuit kind of thing, makeup, hair, the whole deal, and posing, with these this beautiful backdrop of trees and stuff, which I think is absolutely hilarious. But the locals up there don't think it's hilarious at all, and especially like the people that are actually there to just be in nature and hike and stuff, aren't loving it. And I guess also New Hampshire Fish and Games, they reported a huge surge in rescue operations. So what's happening is people are getting hurt up on these, deep back in these trails and stuff because of all the people and all that, and they can't get through. It's taking them hours to wade through all this congestion of people because you can't drive vehicles and stuff, but if there's packed with people, you can't get through it. So anyway, it's like so it's just kind of my journey of knowing what leaf peepers are, and they're causing havoc everywhere.
Well, and that's also, if you're inexperienced at hiking, and I'm raising my hand. I did that several years back in the Smokies. I went up there by myself, and I was just trying to get away from it all. I was going through some stuff at home. I was breaking up with a girl, yada, yada, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And so I go down to the Smokies, down to Gatlinburg, rented myself a place. And then I went up hiking in the mountains. And I took this one trail that was pretty popular, but I went by, it goes to a waterfall. Okay. Well, there's a trail beyond that nobody ever goes on. And it was, it was, it was probably January. It was January, February.
Ooh.
And so I said, well, screw it. I'm just going to go see what's up there. So I went up, and I guarantee I walked 2 or 3 more miles past what was supposed to be your stopping point. And then I got up there and was like, this is really cool. And then I started thinking, if I fall and break my ankle, I'm screwed.
Nobody up here.
That's right. And nobody's coming. The only footprints in the snow I saw were mine. And I was like, oh, you know what? If I go down, I should probably turn around and go back now.
Yeah. No, I thought the same thing, been through on hiking trips that I've gone on where, you're out there and there's nobody around. You do come to a realization of like, man, if some sort of emergency happens or I run out of water or something, I might be kind of screwed here. So, yeah.
But at the same time, I wanted to get away from it all.
I wanted to get away from it.
And I did.
It was a risk worth taking.
And then as soon as I did it, I realized like, I'm going to go back. With that, we check in with traffic and weather. What is going on, Rick?
Well, anytime you go hiking and you hear banjo music, that's also a good time to turn around.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Turn the other way.
Been there, done that.
I think we all have. And it's like, oh, okay, good. From the UC Health Traffic Center, mammogram save lives. Call 513-584-PINK to schedule your annual mammogram with UC Health's expert team. That's 513-584-PINK. Compton and Hamilton crews are cleaning up an accident. Police on the scene here. Now, we're seeing heavier pockets of traffic on 71 northbound for a little while longer this afternoon. State Route 123 to Wilmington is where we've got the bridge work, and the left shoulder is affected here until 4:30. 71 northbound, Dana to Ronald Reagan, Cross County Highway, a 10-minute slowdown now, and heavier pockets on 75. Making your way southbound Shepherd to Ronald Reagan Highway and from Western Avenue to the Brent Spence Bridge. We do have the heavier traffic too on 75 northbound US 42 to Buttermilk Pike. I'm Rick Shrimp, News Radio 700 WLW.
The forecast from a 700 WLW Weather Center for tonight. Clouds, slight chance of more showers, the low of 43 for tomorrow. Maybe some morning rain and the high of 53. It's 55 now. News Radio 700 WLW.
When do you like to listen to Scott Sloan?
Anytime is the perfect time for Sloaney. I could listen 24 hours a day.
Wow, that's a lot of Sloaney.
Yeah, now we talking.
I love Sloaney, but I need a small break to make toast.
I had a dream about eating toast with Sloaney.
Are you being serious?
He used a lot of jelly.
No matter where you are or what you're doing, it's Sloaney time.
I can't get me enough Sloaney.
Scott Sloan, tomorrow morning at 9 on 700 WLW. And check out his podcast on the free iHeartRadio app.
This report is sponsored by Red Pilled America.
This week on Red Pilled America, we tell the story of how The Apprentice made Trump a national hero and detail the first time Kamala Harris took her boss's job, and it wasn't Joe. Listen to Red Pilled America on the iHeartRadio app. That's Red Pilled America.
It's finally here. Genesis Diamond's largest ever sale on luxury pre-owned Rolex watches. Hey, it's David Cooper, Vice President at Genesis Diamonds. If you've dreamed of wearing a Rolex, you can't miss this special 2-day event this Friday and Saturday. During this event, you can take advantage of special pricing and zero-interest financing on a stunning selection of luxurious pre-owned Rolex timepieces. We've got dozens and dozens of Submariners, Daytonas, Pepsis, Batman, Hulks, models you can't find anywhere else. All of our luxury pre-owned Rolexes are in pristine condition, some just out of the box, and all priced to sell at this event. And listen to this, with the purchase of any luxury pre-owned Rolex at this event, Genesis will give you a pair of 2-carat lab-grown diamond stud earrings free. That's a $3,000 value. And listen up, Rolex owners, our pre-owned Rolex buyers are on site offering top dollar for your Rolex. Come see the largest selection of luxury pre-owned Rolex watches in the state and take advantage of special financing. It's this Friday and Saturday only, and only at Genesis Diamonds on Montgomery Road.
For more information about contests on this station, go to 700WLW.iHeart.com/rules.
When you're moving down the road, you should get a good feeling inside. For collision repair, Liberty is there. Call Liberty Collision today.
Hey, Lance McAllister here. Kelly and I turned to stone statements for our new kitchen countertops and watched our kitchen come to life. Check out their large selection of on-site quartz, granite, and quartzite slabs. The process was smooth and easy. The installers were pros. Visit stonestatements.com today.
We hear a lot from our patients after we've successfully treated their erectile dysfunction. But one thing we hear the most is, why didn't I get treated sooner? This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health. And if you're suffering with ED and all the emotional and relationship problems it causes, don't wait. Call us today. ED is simply a medical condition like any other, and for most men, it's fully treatable, which means you can get your sex life back. And I'm not talking about sex that's just okay, by the way. I'm talking about good sex with the ability to enjoy intimacy without the anxiety that affects so many men who have ED. In fact, you might find you're performing like you haven't in years. At Tri-State Men's Health, we're ED experts. We've successfully treated thousands of men with protocols that are successful in well over 90% of cases. And we have a variety of treatments and treatment combinations so you can get the one that's right for you. So stop waiting and call us. Your first visit includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
There's a shocking new government report about the border crisis Sherrod Brown created. According to Immigration and Customs Enforcement, almost 500,000 convicted criminals have entered our country illegally, including nearly 30,000 found guilty of murder and sexual assault, including rape in their home countries. Now they are spread out across America because of Sherrod Brown's policies. But Sherrod Brown says,
I don't hear a lot about immigration from voters.
That's because Sherrod Brown doesn't listen to voters anymore. And while our safety is being jeopardized, Sherrod Brown is making sure illegals get taxpayer-funded benefits, like health care for illegals who get amnesty, Social Security, even COVID relief checks, all paid for by you. 31 years in Washington has changed Sherrod Brown. He's not for us anymore. He's way too liberal for Ohio. American Crossroads paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. AmericanCrossroads.org.
This is the story of the one. As a facility technician installing a new welding station, he knows getting the ventilation right is critical for safety. That's why when questions arise, there's Grainger. Grainger offers detailed technical product information online at his fingertips, so it's easy to find what he needs. Because when it comes to safety, having answers means he and his people can breathe a little easier. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Live from the 700 WLW studios. Driven by Mike Castrucci Jeep in Fairfax. Now recognized as the largest volume Jeep dealer in Greater Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky. Mike Castrucci Jeep is the #1 Jeep dealer in the tri-state. That's Mike Castrucci Jeep in Fairfax.
You're listening to 700 WLW. Also available on 94.5 FM W233BG Cincinnati.
Back with Eddie and Rocky.
So, Ed, here's a great story about some things that you do, you don't realize the impact of it until much later. Well, there's a guy, and this is, it doesn't say exactly, but this is in the Wales online, so I assume it's in Europe somewhere, okay? This guy's name is James Howells, okay? The city of Newport over there. Okay, it's in Wales. Okay. So he's like a portfolio manager kind of person. Well, he had on a hard drive back in 2008, okay, had a hard drive with about 8,000 Bitcoin on it. Okay, this is 2008 when, like, who cares, right? What the hell's a Bitcoin? Sure. It's, basically worthless. So he had this on this hard drive, but he saved it. Like, okay, well, it looked like a bunch of other hard drives. So during the course, somewhere around 2008, 2009, it was, he throws it away, right? Well, 2009 is about the time when that cryptocurrency actually started to, kind of gain a little bit of steam. And so he threw it away while cleaning out his office. Okay, this is actually, I actually did this in 2013. Again, still Bitcoin wasn't that much, money then, but whatever. So he throws this thing out, and he now, of course, realizes, oops, Bitcoin is worth a lot of money, especially 8,000 Bitcoin. And he has been trying to go to the landfill where they dump the garbage and put on a search for this hard drive. And the city of Wales is like, no, you're not doing that. It's a safety hazard. It's ridiculous, right? Well, he has filed a $647 million lawsuit on the community there, saying that, hey, I should be able to go in. There's a fortune there. I should be able to go in and find this thing.
And that's where it stands right now. He's filed.
That's
where
it stands right now.
Right.
Yeah, he filed the lawsuit, and the council. I'm not. And I don't think they're going to all of a sudden allow this guy to do this. But anyway, I talk about, you want to make sure you know where you place things, right? Especially important monetary things, even if they're worth a little bit of money.
Right.
You want to know where they are. It reminds me of. Have you ever heard that story about the guy who This is in 2010. He wanted to buy a pizza, and he didn't have any money, so he gave the pizza guy. He said, "I'll give you 10,000 Bitcoin for it." And the guy's like, "What?" Like, oh, well, hell, okay, yeah, all right, fine, whatever. Paid 10,000 Bitcoin for this pizza. Basically gave it to him. Well, in today's money, Ed, 10,000 Bitcoin would be worth about $600 million.
Jeez. Oh.
Yeah.
So hopefully that guy, did pizza guy sue pizza delivery guy or what's going on with that?
That story, I don't know. That's just one I remember.
That's one I
from back in the day. And in this particular case, again, he realized, he had thrown it away in 2013. At that point, it was worth about $1 million. Now it's worth, again, it's hundreds of millions of dollars that's lost on this hard drive somewhere, and it's in the landfill. And he's suing to get it back, Ed.
The other half of the finders keepers thing is losers weepers. Sorry about your luck, bro.
That's right. That's right.
So
that's right. Now, do you own any Bitcoin? Do you have any of that stuff in your?
Do you?
I don't either. No, I got a buddy that has some money in it, or some percentage of a Bitcoin. I don't know, whatever. I still don't get it. I like to. It just seems so made up to me that I just don't mess with it. And maybe that's foolish, but I just prefer.
No,
I want to deal with stuff that I understand, at least to some degree.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I totally agree with you. I have no idea how it works. It doesn't look, it took me a long time to start buying stuff online because I couldn't touch it.
Right. I'm couldn't physically hand the money over for it.
Right. I'm old school that way. I finally bought some shoes online because, well, look, my feet aren't going to get any bigger or any smaller. I'm of a certain age. Guess what? And so I was like, well, I'll try this without going to the shoe store and trying them on. Are you kidding me? A guy my age doing that? I've made a big step.
You have. You've come a long way.
I've come a long way. But the whole Bitcoin thing, something non-existent that's supposed to make me money, got no clue.
And how my buddies described it to me, it makes sense. He goes, I was like, don't you want something tangible? He always says, the only reason gold is worth money is because we have designated, as a society,
right, makes sense.
Have designated that is worth something. And in and of itself, it's worth nothing. You know what I mean? Really, if you think about it, but we've said, okay, gold is worth this. So it's somewhat similar in that, but I just don't, the fact that there's absolutely nothing tangible about it. It's in the
right
Ethernet. It's in the cloud sort of thing. And in fact, there's multiple cryptocurrencies out there, and really the only way you can make any money off of it is to sell it. There's no real tangible value in it. It's not like property or a painting or whatever, anything like that. It's kind of in the air somewhere.
It's been explained to me before exactly how it works and what it is. Still don't get it. I'm not kidding.
Can I make up my own cryptocurrency? Can I say there's a rock coin and you know what? It's worth $1 billion. One of them. There. I got two of them. So there.
Boom. Yeah. You want one?
You want to buy? Well, yeah. You
want
to buy
$1
billion? There you go. I'll sell you one, Ed, for $1 million right now.
Oh, thanks,
I'll send
buddy.
it over your way.
Let me get on that right now.
You're my pal.
I'll give you my 2 Ed Fingers Bitcoins. That'll pay for that.
Wait a minute. I see what you're up to here.
So coming up here, speaking of stuff, is it worth anything? Who knows? But we're talking about polling here in the political season. Do polls mean anything? Is it worth paying attention to? Obviously, the one that counts is going to happen on the first Tuesday of November. But we're going to talk to our political guy, Dan Snell, about it. What do we do about, what do we think about polls? We shall all discuss after the news right now. News Radio 700 WLW.
News, traffic, and weather. News Radio 700 WLW, Cincinnati.
statewide sex sting in Ohio targets people who were allegedly looking to buy sex. This is a 4 o'clock report. I'm Matt Reese. Breaking now, the Attorney General of Ohio announcing today a lot of arrests. The targets are people accused of trying to purchase sex. Some wanted to victimize children.
Ohio's Attorney General announcing the arrest of 132 suspects as part of a statewide human trafficking operation taking place this month. Among them, 110 are facing charges of engaging in prostitution or solicitation, and 22 are accused of seeking commercial sex with someone under the age of 18. The operation targeted heavy activity areas in Cleveland, Columbus, Akron, Toledo, and several other cities across 19 counties. 74 human trafficking survivors were identified in the past week. They've now been referred to social services. I'm Rick Uccino.
Let's check your drive home this afternoon. We have the latest traffic and weather together.
From the UC Health Traffic Center, mammograms save lives. Call 513-584-PINK to schedule your annual mammogram with UC Health's expert team.